Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 2026 meeting of the Houston chapter of the Electric Vehicle Association. And we got some exciting things here tonight. But first, we'll go through a few things that are coming up. And one thing I wanted to be sure to mention is that next month, there is the possibility that we'll be at Rice. So tonight, we are here at TXRX, and we appreciate them letting us have the space to use here. And there are times of the year when we like meeting with Rice where they have the Rice Student Rev, which is the Rice EV Club. And so next month we might be over there. We haven't determined yet which location. So be sure to read the email that comes out for the location for next month.
Check it on Facebook.
Or check it on Facebook. Yeah. Okay, so we have a few slides of some good information to give everyone here tonight. So I'm Dave Hansen, the president of the Houston chapter, for folks who don't know me. So we also have a relationship with the club down at the Johnson Space Center. So the J stands for Johnson Space Center, and it's the Electric Vehicle Enthusiast Club there. So no need to own an EV, but we like talking about them and meet at a lunch on that side of town. We try to spread our events around geographically so that everyone around can get to them. And this month it will be on Friday, August 21st, starting at 11:30. And we sit around for a good long time talking, so you can come anytime. And it's at the King's Beer House on FM 646, which is right on the League City Dickinson line. So it's way down south. And we just like talking EVs when we're down there.
Cover for me.
And sometimes we also talk about where we get our electricity from for our EVs too. So a lot of times folks say, which do you get first, the EV or the PV, the photovoltaics? And some people start with one, some start with the other, but an awful lot of people end up with both. It really, they go together. So yeah, we have a couple of stickers and other things for our speaker here tonight.
Bear with me just a second.
And so that'll be exciting to hear about uses of EVs. Sometimes we get into more technical things, but sometimes we'd like to talk about how EVs are being used for practical purposes. So that'll be good. And we also we'll hear from a couple of members tonight as well, their experiences. One of them just came back from the air show where they were having some electric airplanes. So we used to be the Electric Auto Association, and then we changed to the Electric Vehicle Association because we like everything, two-wheelers that are electric, boats that are electric, any kind of electric vehicle we like. And another event, this time on the southwest side of town, we have our Batteries and Brews. And again, we just like to get together and talk about EVs. So that will be on Sunday, August 23rd, starting at 1 p.m. And it will be over at the Watershed, which is on Belfort, just off of South Post Oak. So everyone is welcome to come on over there. It's a Sunday. People just like to relax. They have food. People can buy their own food and drinks. And we tend to like to meet at those chairs and tables right there inside the big windows, and then you can look out and see the EVs that folks have driven to the Batteries and Brews on that particular Sunday. And we do rotate that to different locations, but we found that Watershed works real well. People like it there. So that is coming up on August 23rd. So, and to join the national organization, the Electric Vehicle Association, you can get some benefits. So we always encourage people. There is a slight membership fee per year. And part of that comes to our chapter to just pay for individual things. We like to get a few things like a feather flag or something like that to when we do these events, which we may do one this November at the Botanic Garden, but we'll talk about that closer into November. But you can see there on the screen all the other advantages, and you can find us at houstontxeva.org. And one of the things we get from the national organization are these one sheets, which tell you a lot about what vehicles are out there on the market. And a lot of times people like to look at those to see what's going on. And of course, we are agnostic as to brands. And so it's different than if you were to go to a dealership where, of course, they would push what they want to sell customers. And opportunities. So National Drive Electric Month is coming up. And I believe it starts in the middle of September, runs through the middle of October, although people can do things any different time in the months coming up in the fall. And so we'll tell you more about that. You can see it on Facebook or in our
For locations.
yes, in particular, if you have a location somewhere where you think there's a parking lot from an organization you belong to or something like
A
that.
festival, marketplace, anything along those lines.
Yeah, something where crowds of people will be coming out anyway. And then, we just talk to them about our EVs. And some other opportunities, if anyone is good with social media, we'd love to have you helping out with that. You can see a few other things, ideas there, road rallies.
Random ideas.
Yeah.
What are your ideas?
Right. So we'd like to get more folks involved. We would like to thank David Lowy, who is our vice president until recently, and we'd like to welcome Jim. I believe he's on the next page. So we have a new vice president for our chapter here. Yeah, there's Jim with his hands on with some young students. And so welcome, Jim. We're glad to have your hand also on the tiller here. And Facebook, as we mentioned, is a place to find some of our activities.
We have 2 emails that we do. So the rest of the month, this is where you find events, people talking, questions. Sorry, it's evil Facebook, but it's all we got.
Yeah, Facebook is what it is. Okay.
We do.
Yeah.
We do have a YouTube channel.
Yes,
You can rewatch this meeting.
This meeting, we will record it, and then through YouTube, you can find us real easily. Any friends and family that you'd like to have be able to see what was going on at the time. So here are some of the folks that have logged in tonight. Okay. Are we ready with Hanan slides?
Is this Tamisha?
Yeah, let's start with that. You've got your golf screen on up there, right, Tamisha?
I'm sorry, I was trying to make it the profile thing instead of sharing it. Sorry, Shug. I wasn't trying to go over your thing. I was trying to make it the profile. I'm hitting the wrong thing. I'll wait till it's my turn.
Well, no, if it's easy enough to put it back up there again, that way I won't forget.
No worries. I'll put it right up there. Let me
Yeah,
share with everyone. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, and have you say a few words about it.
Thank you. Okay, so I am, if anybody gets to remember me from last time, I'm Professor Tamisha Beatty. I am owner and operator of the Green Thumb Academy. We got to share a really great time with your members during our summer camp with our partnership this summer with Provision Academy. I am also the scholarship chair for the American Association of Blacks in Energy. We have our scholarship fundraiser. This is going to be our first annual golf tournament that we're doing that's supporting our national scholarship. We have a 4-year scholarship for any young people, graduating seniors that are going to be pursuing a degree in anything that encompasses STEM or STEAM. And so this is our scholarship fundraiser. It's going to be Thursday, September the 3rd, over at Herman Memorial Park. We have lots of great things that are going to be on site. We have a silent auction, a couple of raffles, some really great things that are going to be supporting our scholarship. So if you're a golfer, if you're a supporter of STEM, Really want to be able to come out and meet some great people. We have a mixture of folks all over the state. A couple of folks are coming from out of state to be able to share this time with us. Please share your, your Labor Day weekend with us and come hit some teas. Help us out. We appreciate it so much.
All right. That sounds exciting. Yeah, coming up in
Yes, sir.
3 weeks or so. Okay.
Yes, sir. About 3 more weeks. Yep. We're all coming down to the wire.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
y'all so much.
All right. Yes, Bill. Yeah, makers of this morning. Huh? Yeah. Okay, an app to talk to the BMS, the battery management system, and that would help with the situation? Okay, take a deep dive into the status of the batteries that. Okay, yeah, so folks with that concern can contact us and we can pass on that email that Colin got. Okay, no, that's good to know about their situation with the batteries, because yeah, we always like to help people that are finding some kind of troubles or something like that, and get them maybe onto a better path. All right, I see Coffee Fellows on the screen. Okay, so today we are honored to have Hanan Soliman, who is working on as the Chief Accounting Officer at Coffee Fellows. And tonight we'll discuss the silent coffee revolution because they have put an electric vehicle, that's exciting, into use. So if you'd like to come on up here, I'll hand you the mic. Yes. This camera?
You want to right up here. It's your best bet.
Yeah.
You'd like to say it?
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Yep.
Yeah, use the podium for that.
Yeah, go ahead and put that up here because the camera, the folks will be able to see you on this camera here.
Okay.
And
Hello?
also have the slides.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hanan Soliman, and I am the Chief Accounting Officer with Coffee Fellows North America. I would like to give you a little bit of a background about Coffee Fellows. Coffee Fellows is a German brand, and it's been out there for 25 years in Germany and in Europe. And it has been, they have over 300 locations in Europe and other international locations as well. We brought it in the US in 2023. Operations started in June 2023. We have right now 3 operating locations. One in Katy, one in Bel Air and Katy Mills. I'm hoping everyone is familiar with Houston market. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So it was born in Munich. It's family owned, locations across Europe, and we are now we brought it into Texas. We started in Houston as the base, and now we have these 3 locations. We want it to be unique. We're very unique in several specs. What makes us stand out is that we have free alternative milk. We are all compostable cups, and we also serve in China. So we're very environmentally friendly. But as a brand in this coming into the US, we want it also to be unique where we can also bring that experience to the customer wherever they are. So this is how we came up with our electric vehicle as a coffee shop where we can bring it in to any customer, every neighborhood, to be able to provide and bring the experience to the customer. And this is a picture of our first day, our first team. all dressed up and excited to start. Now, why did we come up with this? Why did we come up with a mobile cafe, and why electric? Like I said, we wanted to give that experience to the customer. So we want to be able to bring our brand, let them try it. Because again, it's a market full of coffee shops. You got the big sharks in there, and you have the small boutique coffee shops. So how can we stand out and let the customer try and know Coffee Fellows? So we brought the van, we took it to the customers. We took it to festivals, campus, parks, and we are moving the demand around the city as much as we can. And obviously, coffee is a conversation topic. Top business is done upon coffee. So we wanted to bring that feel at home experience that we have in our stores to the customers. So silence is a big thing. Normally, all the food trucks that come in place are with generators. They're loud. They are not providing that kind of experience. To the fact that we can be in a park, we can have little seatings out there, and people can enjoy their coffee and the weather, have good conversations, and enjoy the experience. There's a lot of venues also that a regular food truck cannot be there. So places where there's schools and being under tents and hospitals, residential neighborhoods that at 6 a.m. would like to get their coffee before they go to work, but they also want that kind of silence that the van can provide. The van was a great idea of marketing for us. So it's marketing for the brand that would pay off. We don't have to pay for it. So you're basically selling coffee, and as well as marketing our brand out there. So it was just a very good idea, and we thought that this is going to be that is going to let the customers and the market and the Houstonians know a little bit more about the brand. Now, let's talk a little bit about what that vehicle is. How did we find that vehicle? So we got it from General Motors. It is called the Chevrolet Bright Drop 400. It was GM purpose built the EV delivery platform. So again, I am an accountant, so a bit of the technical parts, I'm going to read through it, and if you have questions, let me know. Formerly the Zevo 400 Ultium battery, AWD walk-in cargo body made to be worked out of. So that's basically the vehicle itself. And then we partnered with Grounded. Grounded is the one that did the uplifting for it. So it tore out everything inside and built it to have that look of a coffee shop. So we have if you look at the picture, we do have a real espresso machine in there. You get the experience of a barista making fresh brewed coffee right in front of you. Our Grounded is in Detroit. So we shipped the van to them, and they were able to build it out for us. So they turned that cargo box into a turnkey espresso bar. Was it hard to find someone to partner with? Yes, at first it was. Grounded was doing RVs at first, and they also actually do for not hospitals, but some little electric vehicles for like dentists and other sorts of services that can go to the customer. There is a very few upfitters that can be able to touch that electrical background for a food service. So Grounded was able to help us solve that problem, and that's why we partnered with them. And then the van is backed like a work truck. So there's an 8-year, 100,000 miles battery platform warranty, and a growing GM service network that we're working towards, as well having our own network of providers that would be servicing these vans, and not only to depend on GM. All right, a little bit more information about the van. a little bit more specs. So the battery is 165 kilowatt per hour Ultium traction battery, sorry. And it is a 250-mile range per charge, for more than what the events need. So basically the events, we were very worried that these vans will not be able to reach to the events that we needed to go to, but we were very surprised that we were able to do at 2 events per day, which was fantastic for us. And the battery went on, and it was housing the whole van, including the AC in there, including the espresso machine. So it went very well. CCSTC was the fast charging on the road, and there's a level 2 overnight at our house, our cafe, basically. The measurements of this van is 19.9 feet long, 7.8 feet wide, 10 feet tall, which is a bit petite than what a regular food truck would be. It's smaller, which comes in handy because we had an event when we pulled inside the building and we served from inside. And obviously there's 0 gas, so no gasoline, no engine oil, no generator, no exhaust. And obviously the van is also supplied with a satellite. So we have our own internet that runs our POS system inside the van. All right, so no generator, so what runs the espresso machine? So Grounded built a house battery system inside the van. So a dedicated house battery system separate from the transaction pack, sized for the bar, the espresso machine, the grinders. We have also refrigerating, lighting, POS, and the AC, obviously. We do have real cafe equipment in there. Like you can see in the picture, they are working off an espresso machine. That's a La Mazorca, which is the premium machinery in the levels of the coffee machines. Is the top tier. A commercial 2-group espresso machine peaks around 3 to 5 kilowatt. The house system takes it in stride. So everything it's performing it. We never had a problem with that. And yes, we can plug it into an outlet. We were in Discovery Green and we needed to plug it in. So you can plug it in the events that you are in. So whatever venues you're in. Otherwise, it's self-contained overnight. And then overnight, we kind of charge it. Level 2 at a home base resets everything. AC is working while it's parked. So there's no idling. Rooftop electric AC keeps the baristas comfortable, specifically in Houston weather. Because there is also these coffee shops, there's little vans that they'll open their van and baristas are working outside. So I was like, no, we were like, this is not going to work in Houston. This can work in Boston, but it's not going to work in Houston. So again, the electric van was a great idea for us. Yeah, so another comparison between why an electric cafe versus an ice food truck. And I'm going to take a step back to just go back to why did we choose that little truck instead of, like I said, a van? Because we got a Volkswagen. We bought first Volkswagen electric vehicles. And we thought that they can work from the back, open it, and they have the machinery and they stand outside. So it's too small. And also it's not going to carry all that we need refrigeration for the milks. And we need also the environment that barista can sit in 3-4 hours working in that weather. So going a comparison between a typical ice food truck and our electric cafe. Obviously the truck needs gas, it needs a generator, and it needs 2 engines to be maintained, and there's obviously a lot of noise, exhaust. This is why they keep the food trucks outside. So in any venues, further away from everything. For us, we kind of park in front of companies, we park in front of schools, we park in neighborhoods, and we have no problem. People are very excited about it. overnight level 2 charging. We talked about that, so we never had a problem with the friction of gas cost. The battery is really our generator, so we don't need a generator. It's all fully sufficient. And then there's no oil change, no services, and it's quite clean. Like I said, being in any event, it was very easy for us. So being said, I think this worked way better than we expected because people were taking pictures of this. I was like, okay. And they're like, where can we find you? They're tagging us on Instagram. They're getting bookings because they scan the QR code. They're trying to book it for events. It was working really well for us. It did work really well for us. So again, silent service. So all you can hear, actually, you'll be just watching and being entertained with the barista steaming the milk, and you hear the machine of the coffee machine, but you're not hearing that high voice of a motor, of a generator. People can actually stand around, have conversations and talks. Zero exhaust, which is what kind of aligns with the company's concept. The company is very environmentally friendly, like I started. The main company in Germany also, they are very keen about that. They plant forests in Africa. So it's the company's belief, and what we believe in is to be very environmentally friendly with what we give out to the world. So we talked about zero exhaust. Crew is happy because it's very cool experience. Young kids love that stuff, and they love the interaction, and they love the fact that, you know, they're just working in there just like in a store. They're not suffering from the heat. Everything is available for them in there. At first people, the team was like, do we really want to do this? Until they do it one time and they're in these events and they're like, oh, we love it. So actually we don't have any problem with staffing. And then also early and late hours, 6 a.m. residential neighborhoods, they don't want that high noise of a generator, but we can stay there in the block, and we can also serve them coffee on their way to work and to school. Obviously cheap miles, because, you know, overnight charging of a cafe means, you know, low energy cost in every event. And again, like I said, it's selling itself. People see it. They want to know, how did we do it? How did we build it? How can we book it? Where are you going to go next? Actually, we are having on Instagram, like follow the van trend, where we're telling everybody where we are. We're right now in every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're in Memorial Park. And it became part of the runner's routine, which is fantastic. Right. Now, it's not all roses. It's not all dandy. We also have challenges. And the challenges started with convincing people, right? Because how do I convince Chevron, for example, who had booked us for their event? They had 3,000 employees that we had to serve. How could we convince them that we are the right candidate for them? They had to see the pictures, and they had to see what the van looks like. And then they're like, oh my God, we want to bring this to our to our employees. Houston summer, of course, was a big thing because we needed to make sure that the refrigeration is there. If the event is too long, we had to be able to find way to replenish the milks while the weather is so hot. So there's an AC in the van, like I have explained. That there's a refrigerator we have inside, so all our products stay stable. But again, we plan those events around the total energy of that van, and not just the miles. So it's not only the miles, it's how much energy is pulled while the van is serving the customers. Another problem, which I'm the one who was like, oh my God, I didn't think of that. Because normally you go into gas station, you pump your car and you leave. It's a 5 minutes thing. With that, no, we have to plan a 30 minutes at least to be able to charge that van. Because like any electric vehicle, you need to stay a little bit between 15 to 20 minutes to charge that. And that was something, because if you're going from one event to the other and you book it back to back, you have to put in the. They're right. Yeah. And they're like, is it time to go? There we go. And obviously another problem would be the ecosystem of that. There's few uplifters. So obviously you can't really negotiate your entrance price, because the uplifter is the only, we have very few uplifters out there, pure techs who knows both the espresso machine and high voltage system. So we need to be, it was very important for us to pick our partners. Again, doing such an uplifter, and it's all new when it comes to an electric vehicle, it's going to be an upfront capital, which is high. Then that's something that we are thinking about. How can we reduce the entrance cost to be able to have this franchised? EV is, it's going to be more costly to be able to do that entrance compared to a regular ice truck or ice cream truck or coffee truck or whatever. And then the planning for the payload, the water, milk, ice, beans. So all these are all electric support vehicle handles mid-event replenishments. And that I just mentioned a moment ago, that we had events that can run for the whole day. So how do you replenish this into the van again when it comes to water, milk, ice, beans? So we had to have that planned as well. And again, people had to see to believe, because they will think that it's just a regular food truck, and it's not. It's a very smart van. Mobile cafe is what we came up as a name for it. All right. I'll just go through a day in the life of the van. The van is really convenient because it's a 15-minute setup in a location. We actually were serving coffee in all these FIFA events that were taking place. We had the van serving coffee there, and they normally ask vendors to come about an hour early to set up, and we pull in 15 minutes and we're up and running. And then 25 minutes to break down and get back to our store. So it was very easy as well with the setup and the breakdown. Again, all electric supply chain. The van arrives preloaded, so preloaded with everything, and an electric support vehicle runs the ice, milk, beans for long as the event goes. We never had a problem with that. And obviously some venues does have like a place to plug the van if needed, like Discovery Green. It's cashless. We have a satellite that connects directly with our POS system. It brings in, we have a Wi-Fi in there, so we are cashless. We just use the POS and everybody pays with their card and they go. So that helps with the lines, shorter lines, cleaner accounting. Everything is very easy and smooth when it becomes cashless. And actually in the van there, it's a real menu. We bring in food, sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches, we bring croissants, bakery. We bring a part of our coffee shop, the real coffee shop, into the van. And then obviously premium signature drinks, lattes, and all the things that kids love, from matchas and coconut and Biscoff and all these sugary drinks, but we have to serve them. All right. So let's see what happens on the road. Where did we take the van? And we took it to Houston Art Houston Art Car Parade. It fit really well because every car looks different there. We launched our lunch event was April 2026. Thousands of cups were sold. And then we took it downtown, and then the multiple festivals around downtown that were very successful for us. FIFA was very successful for us. And again, now schools and campuses are calling us. We're actually partnering with the University of Houston, and we're trying to partner with other universities as well. So it's growing rapidly, as you see lines. At a point there, it's like the lines were so crazy that I had to jump in. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just do the POS and help people in the van. It's a really great experience for us. The next thing that I would like to talk about is, does this business work? Really, does it work? Will we do it again? Actually, yes, we are now operating 2 vans, and the third is on the way, and we are building it we're penciling it to the right mix to be able to franchise this. And when we franchise this, we want it to be a cheaper entrance for small young entrepreneurs who cannot really build a full coffee shop, because to build a coffee shop, you want a $600,000 just an entrance, and that's a very, very conservative number. But this can get them the entrance they need. And we're trying our best to pencil this and build out a model where the entrance can be very, very affordable. And we are also going to build it where we're going to build a hub where they can come pick up their milk, coffees, the supply chain from one hub. They can charge the vans overnight there. They can get it. They can get any tuning, any fixing that they need in the van in that hub. So we're going to build it where the person who will be our franchisee will have this ecosystem and the support system it needs in order to sign them up for success. Not only that, but we're going to also build it where there's an app that you can go in as a customer, see where the van is, and that way it gives all these franchisees opportunities to find places to put their vans and to sell the coffee and be profitable. So again, it's a market value. One van leads to the other. People start knowing about Coffee Fellows. We actually got a lot of people coming into our stores just because they saw the van out there. That's a little bit of how our coming steps for this model will take place, or how it will happen. And that's about it. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's move the mic around. Mic around to folks who want to ask questions. All right, we're ready to. So go ahead, Robert.
Thank you for coming, and I can't wait to try your coffee, and then maybe we could, a few of us could take a ride in your van, but it's
Absolutely.
up to you. My question is, how far would you be willing to go to service a client? Because do you have like a better route plan or a plan if you have to go out of town or go overnight or something?
Yes, actually, that's what our coming steps are, to be able, how can we move this van to test other markets? Because it's a cheaper way to test other markets than just going and opening and say, let's go, look, we want to be able to open in Dallas and in Austin. I think that will be a great opportunity for us. At that point, you're probably going to have to ship it away to that place and find a hub for it, maybe a commissary kitchen, and a place to be able to park that van. So you're going to have to set up something for it, but absolutely, that's what we are planning to do. And you are right about distance, right? Because we have Katy, whereas we have 2 locations in Katy and 1 in Bel Air. The Bel Air location was closer to the downtown events, so we had to like station it and charge it and get it replenished at that spot. when we build that hub, we're going to try to build it in the center of Houston so it can be almost equal distances, north, east, west, south. Yes, that's the goal. The goal is to be able to do that so it can be able to service not only the vans that we own, but the franchisees as well. So it will be where they can get their van service, they can get their coffee, their milk, the supplies that they need from one place. Yeah.
So the other question, and this is for the membership, I believe you said the battery, main traction battery was 165 kilowatt hour?
Yes.
Is anybody aware of any EV that has that large a battery? Okay. Okay. The other question, did you let General Motors know what your electrical load was? And so they sized or yes.
Yeah. So that's a good question because they give you the van as is. When we did the uplifting with Grounded, they're the one who did the house battery and they built it to be able to cover these kinds of the equipment inside, to be able to cover the AC, all this power that's being pulled. This is why it's very unique. And that's why we were talking about partnering with the right partners in cases like that, because anything goes wrong, the whole project fails. But again, it's very expensive when there's only one person who's doing the uplifting. So we're trying to find other partners that we can partner with to provide the same model at a cheaper rate. So again, cheaper cost, entrance cost.
Good. Do we have any folks online with questions, or are there any? Okay, Tamisha, are you able to ask your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I am so fascinated and impressed by your work. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this. I had a few questions. So one, back to the battery capacity, I heard you say that too about the 165. What is the actual charging capacity? So if you were building a charging station, what would be the capacity that's needed in order to be able to charge that? And then two, where are you sourcing your coffee beans from? Do you have a local organization or place that you're working with to be able to do that?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to answer the coffee part because I'm very involved in operations. So I can give you that straight ahead. Yes, it's a local roaster that we are partnering with. We brought in the German brand blend, and they were able to actually make it better. So our coffee here is better than there. But yes, it is a local roaster that we are partnering with in Houston.
Awesome.
As for your question about how do we build, can you kind of elaborate a little bit on your question with the charging stations?
Yes. So with the charging stations, what is the actual capacity that's needed in order to be able to charge those? Are you charging them with regular EV charging stations, or is this some sort of special build out that was custom?
Yeah, no, we're charging it with the regular charging stations, and we can actually the owner himself build a little charging station in his house so that he can charge them overnight sometimes. So it's very easy. You can charge it from the Tesla stations as well. The charging part is absolutely the easiest thing, and this is why it became convenient, because if we're going from one event to the other and we need to stop somewhere to kind of get a little bit more charge between the drives, the only thing is that how do you plan your time between events, because the charging takes a little bit of time, but we can charge it anywhere, and this is why we're hoping that on the longer distance, we can see more of these charging stations built in Texas to be able to service these kinds of vans and all the EVs out there. But yeah, we don't have any problem with it.
Yes.
So
So
the
level two
is the
chargers.
charging station attached to the truck, or it's portable? It's stationary or it's portable?
It's a CCS connection, is my understanding, which is common among lots of passenger vehicles. That's very common. So you could charge it at my house. You could charge
Yeah.
it at almost any level 2 at home. And then superchargers are available for CCS
Yes.
that give you 80% charge in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So and there's tons of those all over Houston.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I am so fascinated. Got to learn more. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, thanks. I have once or twice observed the truck charging at the Tesla supercharger at West University Place, the one that's behind the Randall's there. On
That's right. That's our van. We normally go there. We have our Bel Air location in Bissonnette. It's very close to there.
Yeah.
So that's where, and actually we are opening a new location in Westview in that plaza where there is the Barnes and Nobles. And there is also Tesla chargers there. So you're probably going to see our vans a lot over there.
Very good. I have another, by the way, I've been to the shop in Bel Air and the coffee's excellent.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't want to get too far off track, but this almost sounds like it possible. I'm sure you've had this thought, independent business opportunity that you could manufacture these vehicles now that you've tried them and have a proven formula and maybe sell them to other parties, maybe get on the Sharks TV show and promote this side business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a business unit. Absolutely. And you can grow it the way you want to grow it. And then you can go around and flip it and sell it to someone who wants to grow it and have their own vehicles. General Motors, we had spoken to them to be able to get these a bigger some or lot of these vans at a cheaper price, so to again cheaper entrance, so we can able to have franchisees have a cheaper entrance. So if the van, I'm just gonna throw out numbers, don't quote me on this, but if the van, if you buy it for 60,000, for example, and but if we get to a deal with GM and we get it for 30,000, then that's a big saving for the person who wants to invest or they want to enter this business. Yeah.
And the modifications are probably twice that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But again, we're looking for more partners because again, if you stick to, it's going to be almost a monopoly. We love Grounded since this is recorded. We love Grounded. Grounded is a great partner, but as we expand, they can also help pulling down the cost. If I'm bringing in 20 vans, they're probably going to not be charging us the way they are charging us.
They're learning from you. They're learning. Yeah,
absolutely. We're learning from each other, and it's a great partnership. And again, we're looking forward to expand this as much as we can.
Yeah, the thought occurred to me as you were talking about the company Grounded. Maybe we want to get a speaker from them to come tell us
Absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
kidding.
modified an electric vehicle to provide so much electric capability, since everything you do is electric, not just drive.
100%.
So a question online, are the coffee equipment powered by a main battery or a separate battery? Do you know that? If it's just one big battery?
No, there is the main battery of the van, and then there's a house battery
Okay.
that is housing all these equipment.
And do they both have CCS kind of connection?
So it's basically all channeled into one charging. So
I see.
so the
Okay.
main van battery is charging the house battery.
Okay.
So as it's
Okay.
running, it's charging it.
Okay.
But when you overnight, we have both being charged.
Right. So that you have more capacity for what
Exactly.
you need to do during the day.
Absolutely.
Good. So, Bill?
I was going to mention another perk is to, assuming it's a flat roof, put some solar up there and charge the battery.
Yeah, well, that's true. So we have a satellite, and I don't know if we have a solar. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I don't remember, but that's a good one. That's a good point. Yeah.
It would not charge a lot, but it might help with
Might help a little bit.
yeah.
And if you pull into yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of folks like seeing the photovoltaics, and yeah, even if it's not enough to run a whole day's worth of work,
Yeah.
to see it is a positive aspect.
And then also there is a certain loading of a weight capacity that you can load in that van. So we had to be very cautious with that.
Thank you for being here. It's great business model. Great to see you incorporating EVs. My question is, did the EV idea start in Germany and Europe, or was it your idea?
100% American made.
All right.
Our boss is a great entrepreneur. Our CEO is a great entrepreneur, which drives me crazy sometimes. But he slept and he woke up and he's like, I want to bring coffee fellows to every neighborhood. And I'm like, I would love for us to expand that fast. So how can you do that? So he came up with the idea. Like I said, we first brought this Volkswagen electric vehicle, but then it evolved to what you see right now.
Okay. And Houston's the starting market.
Houston is our starting base here. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, 100%.
Very good. Well, all the best to you. The other thing with solar is that you can have it on the vehicle, but if you have a weight limit, you can also have solar on either a building or a parking lot where these are stored, and they can charge batteries. And
100%. And that's where,
charge them.
if we build the hub that we were talking about a moment ago, definitely going to be supplied with the solar panels. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Any other questions online?
Do you have an idea of how fast your return on investment will be? Have you run those numbers?
When we ran these numbers, these vans, if they're working at full potential, when I say full potential means they're working every day. So if you are capable of having these vans, and you can see a lot of food trucks that work every day. They station between schools and hospitals and all that, aside from the events, of course. Yes, the ROI will be you'll have it in the same year. It can make what a store can make with a way higher margin.
So you think maybe in 1 year for ROI?
I think, yeah, less than 1 year even.
Especially with gas right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Questions? Anybody online?
And this is what I think that would make that van, that franchising it would be very tempting for a lot of people.
Have you had any trouble with the van maintenance wise?
Yes, of course we did. So at first one time we had a problem with the battery manufacturing. So we sent it to GM and they got that fixed. And that was in an event where I was showing up the van and we're trying to leave and we want someone to jumpstart us.
Oh.
So that was very upsetting. But again, we were able to get to the root of the problem and we fixed that. The main challenge would be if you have an event, if you're not prepared that you have the van charged before you go and you decide to wing it at a 50% charge, you're most likely not going to be able to get out of that event if it's a 5-hour or something like that. So that would be a challenge that we'll face. That if you're not organized on charging this van before your event, it can be a problem.
Kind of like if you forgot to bring some coffee beans with you, you'd be in trouble at your event.
I mean, it would be easier. It would be easier to go have one of the team run to the store and get it than being there and not being able to charge the van.
Yeah. Yep, Bill.
You may be aware of the app on the phone called Plug Share. It tells you where chargers are located in Houston.
Yes, we're having our team members who are driving that van have that so they know, they're aware. Yeah, of course, it's very important. Appreciate that.
Yep, that's a good aspect. Yeah, good. Okay. Any other questions? Well, Hanan, thank you very much. And we
Thank
hope
you guys for having me.
to see you at some of our events. too.
Absolutely. Please come and visit us. Thank you so much.
And and of course, we'd love to see you and Tracy and everyone at the event at Watershed. That would be good. I don't know if Watershed would particularly like you selling coffee in their parking lot outside
Yeah.
because they sell beverages inside, but
I went to an event recently. I'll talk about this first. It's called Bronze Eagles. It's a group of pilots that help with disadvantaged and kids, get them involved with aviation careers and so forth. So the trick is, rather than trying to gin up the crowds, go to where the crowds are. If there's like a STEM event, well, we're high tech, autonomous vehicles, electric batteries, alternative energy. An environmental event, we're environmental. And then also now we have electric aircraft. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see some things about electric aircraft. Some of you might be receiving some emails about it. So I knew somebody with the Bronze Eagle, so myself and then another gentleman within this club set up a little booth there, and you just ask them politely, and if you're nice to them, they're nice to you. And then so we got a place and we evangelized, and we got names, took names and emails, and there's a lot of interest in it in EVs, and there's some owners too. So it's just getting the word out. And then by now, everybody knows what an EV is. There's a lot of, I'd say there's more misinformation than non-information than ignorance. But that's up to us to clear up some of the misunderstandings. There was one lady at the event, the Barnes Eagle event, says that she was concerned about electromagnetic waves. And I said, okay. And I wasn't going to get into a big how to do about it. I said, well, if you have gas, you have to be breathing in the gas fumes. And so half dozen of one, six of another. But anyways, it's just really good. And you just listen. We gave out literature. And then in this case, like if you're doing an outdoor event, bring some cold water. And then I always bring some people bring donuts. I brought some treats here, and it helps break the ice. And I gave some of the little cards to some of the kids. They had bags for the little kids, so they enjoyed that. And so it's really good. And I'm trying to get them to possibly have a Zoom meeting with a member regarding electric aircraft and careers in aviation. And I'm still waiting on them. But it was a really good event. And somebody said that we had more signups than at any other event. And like I said, go to where the crowds are and just kindly ask if you could join and be productive to it, and be nice to them, be offer to help with any volunteer work. And so it's really good. It's a win-win for us, for them. And I was hoping to see more members from that event from Bronze Eagles here, but they're not here tonight. But they can always join us on our YouTube page for past meetings and everything. So another thing, where's the computer? I'm also going to give a presentation on how to evangelize. Do we have a computer?
What? Now you're telling me what? You have something you want to show?
Yeah, well, it's basically on these sheets. I was going to show it up there for the people online. We don't belong to an organized group. We're the HEVA. But anyways, getting to evangelization, I did something similar to this when we were the Houston Electric Auto Association. And it was basically, and this was came from our sister group called pluginamerica.org. And they're more into the advocacy and the legislative end of it. We do a little bit of that, but we're more just like for fun and person to person. And they deal with all the big wigs and the mucky mucks in politics. But anyways, there was this was back in the early 2000s or 2000 teens. They had a write-in campaign to they encouraged their members to write the legacy automakers, like basically no plug, no deal, and just see what they're doing to advance the cause of electrification of their brand. And I wrote some things and I actually did get some responses. So you do get responses. It's not always the response you want, but a lot of them says, well, we're not working on it now, but we're doing this and we're doing that. And now that was about 10, 12 years ago. Now every model of making car manufacturer has an EV or plans to. If they don't go EVs, they're going to be dinosaurs. They're going to go the way of some of the old ones did that don't innovate. And so it's we're in the midst of a revolution. It's RE or evolution, evolution, revolution. But there's good news, and I've got good news, and I've got better news. The good news is we don't have to do a thing. It's here. It's coming. The better news is we can accelerate this. Get EVs out there. And now we don't. The good news is we don't have to go to the automakers anymore because they're already doing the work for us, and they've got EV lines. Of course, there was Tesla, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Chevrolet. I own a Bolt, Kias, Hyundai's, you name it. And so my focus now was to get with some of the businesses, like you were mentioning, like the coffee and how it fits in there. We also have a member that's an electrician or an HVAC company. He has an all-electric fleet, and he gave a talk one time, and he had his vehicle at IKEA. We don't do events at IKEA anymore, but we've had some mixed results, but they've shut that down. But my plan is to send 2 letters a week at the minimum. If we could get just 4 people to send 2 letters a week, that's 32 in a month, almost 1 letter or email a month. And sometimes I say that 1 letter to the editor or to a politician equals the views of 100 other people. So if we just flood it with
And it says the file format not recognized.
well, you all got things on some dead trees, skins of dead flesh of dead trees. So I can email it to anybody online that wants it. We tried, but it's not compatible.
How can they join you?
How they can join me?
They email you?
They can email me. I've got a sheet here for the people present. You can leave your name and email, and we don't have to go all out on it. And like just say 2 letters a week. That's almost or an email. So they say sometimes letters are more old school. It's you took the time to put a stamp on it and so forth. But there's emails, and what I was thinking about some of the technical gurus, we could get some kind of group where we could upload like some of the letters we receive, some of the emails we send and receive, and then so everybody can know. So then we could also have. I sent you an email in case that didn't work. Did you? Okay. It was on an email. It's got all these things.
Yeah, but we're not prepped for it. We're not prepared for
Okay.
it tonight.
Well, I apologize for the low tech things on it. But you can sign up tonight, and then what's measured is managed. We could have like a spreadsheet where we update just a old fashioned spreadsheet, and we could say, okay, I sent something to Centerpoint Energy. I list the name of the contact, their phone number, their email address, their website, who did it, me, my action, emailed, response. I got a response back a few days later. Plans to incorporate fleet EVs in 2027. This is just examples. And we could either have like another column where it says what they are: exterminator, HVAC, general contractor, painter, blah, 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 blah. And or else we could just have different tabs, like say an exterminator tab and painter tab and so forth. Delivery trucks for the different food distributors, restaurateurs. And I provided some sample letters, and I could put this on our Facebook page too. So it's all basically on here. And it just basically says who I am. I'm with the HEVA. That might give us some weight. We know what we speaketh of. If you have some kind of personal business ties with this group, with these businesses, don't be afraid to mention that. And they said, well, I know a way to make your company even more profitable and more cost efficient. I've been pleased with your work that you've done for me. And then here's a list. I just some hypothetical manufacturers of EV trucks, EV equipment, and just say, okay, these are some possible ones. This is not an endorsement by ourselves or by the chapter, and it's not necessarily a full list. So it's CYA. We're not endorsing any of these manufacturers, or nor are we saying that these are the only ones. And just in this case, we're dealing with they're out to make some money, and so we got to stress the cost savings. Yeah, it's great that it doesn't pollute and it doesn't noise pollution too. You mentioned that. I hate noise pollution, and so, but our main focus here is make you money or save you money. That's the main thing in all business. You either make or save money. And so I just have some sample things, and then if we can get a group together and we can just discuss it, and then we could just say, okay, well, I'll contact some of the exterminators. You can contact HVAC companies, and then just keep these things up. And then if you get an email, we save it into a spot where it says Joe's Exterminators or whatever. Or if they send us a letter, we could just scan it and upload it. That's how we did it at one of my jobs. We did all the bidding through an app, through a website. We would send the bidders these links, and then they could communicate via this website, and then they could also upload their technical information. They could upload their pricing. They could upload any questions, and then what we would do is, this is not nearly as sophisticated as that, and then we would just respond, okay, a question was raised about a standard XYZ, if they could use another alternate. Our engineer says that, no, we have to strictly attune to this standard. So it's just something like that. And the people that have worked in the high-tech field have known things like this, where we're not actually going to be communicating with the people through this, but this is just like a record. So we know what's what, because I hate paper. I'm trying to get past it. What I do, I bring you paper. And so also we can talk to governments. We had somebody from Precinct 2, Harris County, and they just talked, I think it was in late 2024, they just talked, they almost did our job for us. They talked everything, just was outstanding. Everything was pro EV, pro electric equipment, pro EV trucks, pickup trucks, backhoes, excavators. And this is a public agency, so we could also reach out to different counties within Southeast Texas. And it's okay, we're here to say, we're taxpayers. We want you to save us money. And this is the way you can save us money. And that'll be a feather in your cap that you could say, I saved the taxpayers money. And with the way situation is in the Middle East, who knows where the price of oil is going to go. And so the main focus is just save you money or make you money. And they are, for the public sector, there are school buses, city buses, ambulances, fire trucks, police cruisers, garbage trucks, construction equipment. And then it's just amazing what they have out there. It's like, I call it EVs go to work. It's EVs for work and for pleasure. And this is EVs going to work and doing the job, and the job well done.
That was really good that you mentioned the Precinct 2 folks, because yes, they did a really good job talking about the electric equipment and things that
And
they
we have their meeting on our YouTube page, so we can go back anytime. And
right, exactly.
If anybody wants to join Robert, they can send, they can sign up here, or if not, you can send an email to our info@HoustonTexasEVA.com.
if you want to send it directly to me,
and we'll forward it to them. So that's the main thing. I want people to know how to get in touch with you.
Yep.
That's the goal here is to get
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And then we could just have like meetings, online meetings like Zoom. We could, if someone's technically savvy, we could use our Zoom to talk about plans. And then if we just update this spreadsheet, we'll know who's doing what and upload the letters going in and out, upload the emails going in and out, and even if we don't get the answer that we want, it's better that way because we got on their radar. Even to say, well, we have no plans for it at the moment. We planted the seed. It's like it would be great if we sent them a letter and then the next day they started buying a fleet of EVs, but that's not going to happen. But we plant the idea, and then when the weather changes, when conditions change, then the seed can sprout. And the price of gas being one, the price of diesel, it's just everything's changing, and companies and agencies that don't change with it, they're not going to be in business anymore, not going to be elected anymore. So
Very true. Well,
Tamisha, do you have a question?
or anyone in the room have questions
Everyone have a
for
room, and,
Robert?
it does work because I did get responses. If the thumb drive worked, I would have shown you some responses from back in 2017, and that was when we had to encourage the automakers to do it, and we don't have to do that anymore. And then we could also come up with maybe a link, maybe on our Facebook page that, well, you could go on our Facebook page. Look, if you wanted to find out about watercraft, you could put down ships or ferries, and it'll pull up all the uploaded articles on ships and ferries. And we could do something similar to work pickup trucks and so forth. And I don't know if you'd be willing to endorse EVs to anybody that might have a question on it. I could ask our other member that has the HVAC company, but you guys are busy enough, so I don't, you might not want to do that, but that's up to you to decide.
All right. Thank you very much, Robert. This has been very great.
Questions?
I didn't have a question. So great, Robert. One, you look amazing in that Young Builders Academy shirt, brother. I appreciate that very much. Awesome work. I love the pictures. Great seeing it. Lots of those kids. We did promoted really hard with our group that we work with over at the Boy Scouts, the group that meets down over on Wheeler. So I think I did recognize one face in there. So great job on that. I was just saying, really great. Awesome presentation.
Well, thank you. And I was hoping to see you here. I just got some more flags for you, but I might be able to stop in sometime next week or something. But anyways, it's all about.
Yes. I have my electrical class and ended up leaving from Rosenberg super late.
Okay, and it's all about the greasy wheel gets the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and time for
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks. Okay. Yep. Very informative. Okay. So Kevin, would you like to come on up? Okay.
Can I plug in up there and share my screen? Airventure 2026. So, okay, the Electric Aircraft Association it's actually the Experimental Aircraft Association is an organization that was founded after World War II by GIs that came back from the war with a lot of skills, and we had a lot of material available. And so they started to build their own airplanes. And so we don't experience this too much down here, but up in Wisconsin and Minnesota and the Dakotas and all these places where it's winter for 6 months, what is a man going to do that has a bunch of acreage but work in a shop, heated shop inside? So it builds airplanes. And so this started in Wisconsin with 10 guys, and it has grown to the largest air show in the world, bar none. There are this year they broke a record. They had 560,000 people went to this air show over the week. It's a week in July normally. They had 10,000 airplanes fly there. 10,000. And this is everything from home builts, little single seat, 2 seat, 4 seat home builts, to warbirds. They have the only World War II B-29s flying, B-17s, B-24s. So that's EAA Airventure. And of course, there's airplanes and pilots and military. The military has a bunch of shows there too. And one thing I wanted to show you guys, there's the British team and little airplanes, lots of little airplanes. This is a United 737 taking off there. But on Wednesday and Saturday, so they have a tremendous amount of vendors. It's a huge, I think probably 300 vendors or more. And everybody is either trying to sell an airplane or parts or services is there. But they have the most fantastic fireworks display combination air show in the world. If you like fireworks, go up to OshKosh, Wisconsin on a Wednesday or Saturday night during this air show, buy yourself a ticket. They've got the runway is about 10,000 feet, so a couple of miles long, the main runway. And they have aerobatics with airplanes that are lighted up with LED lighting. Now everybody's got LED and fireworks on their airplanes. And behind that, they have a huge drone display. So they have drones flying behind the fireworks. It's spectacular. And you can get on YouTube and see the show, and you will want to go. See, there's the lit up airplane. See the little wispy there towards the top of right there below the hand. You can see where an airplane was as they took this picture. Okay, so EA Airventure. I even if you're not that much into aviation, I highly recommend going. What I really enjoy about EA Airventure is the people. The people at this show, I like places that where you see passion. And here's their website. And if you're interested in craftsmanship, this is your place. If you want to see people that have fantastic talents at building and maintaining and keeping beautiful things going, it's spectacular. Innovation. There so much of so you have two places that innovation come from. The military spends a lot of money for innovation. And you have all these entrepreneurs, craftsmen, people that come up with great ideas and they incorporate them. And so you'll see all kinds of neat stuff there. And you get to have all kinds of workshops and forums about every kind of talk. You get to they have all kinds of other activities that are not just airplane related, but mostly airplane related. So if you're not into airplanes, just go one time so you can go ooh ha and follow that person that's ooh and ahhing about the airplanes, and then you can go. My wife, she'll go for a day or two, see the fireworks, and then okay, so that's EAA. Now, before EAA, the Vertical Flight Society has the Electric Aircraft Symposium, and it is probably the most well attended and robust grouping of the topic of electric aviation. At this event this year, there were 50 CEOs of companies that are doing either aircraft or supply chain or services for the electric aircraft movement. And if you think it's a small movement, the last time I checked, the investment capital in this space is over $350 billion for a something like $3 to $5 trillion market. And so what did we see? Well, there's all, I put this up. You can't really see it, but you can get online, an electric aircraft symposium. And that was the agenda for 2 days. And Robert Powell, who some of you know, was at this, and we didn't run into each other. Robert, I just talked to him. He's working for Archer Aviation. So if you're an engineer, if you're into material sciences, what a wonderful time to be alive, because we are having super exciting development and actual application. The world is changing very, very fast, as we all know. And all right, so all right. First thing I wanted to show you guys. Let's see if I can get under that thing. No. I wish I could. There we go. Maybe I can sneak under there. All right. Here is, I think, H-55. I talked to you guys about H-55 because I thought they were going to be the first aircraft, normal category aircraft, to be certified in electric aircraft certification. It turns out that there's their airplane right there. Can you guys see that? Or is it too dark? Maybe we should. Oh, we can't turn off the lights. If you can't see it, can you guys see it or not? I can hit the. Okay, little 2-seat side by side, but would fly a couple hours, all on electricity. It'll meet the training market demand. I've talked about that before. There's people training to be pilots. There are syllabuses that they follow, and the challenge was to do some of the cross-country work. Well, now the batteries are good enough to do that. This company, unfortunately, earlier this year, they decided to pivot, and instead of make an electric trainer, they're going to do all their knowledge base in electric battery systems and controls into the military. And the big thing today is drones. And I'm not just talking about these little drones. I'm talking about everything from a little drone to an airplane-sized drone, a 737-sized drone that'll is used for surveying, spying, intelligence, and weapon delivery. So and package delivery, right? Amazon. There's a whole space on aerospace innovation at OshKosh that's fantastic. NASA's there, Amazon's there, everybody that's showing off their latest tech. So H-55, they're not going to make an electric trainer. So the next one is these guys, Buy Aerospace. And Buy Aerospace is out of Colorado, and they're making a ground up electric 2-seat trainer following by a 4-seat aircraft. This company, I think I told you guys last year I was at OshKosh. I helped them put together a mock-up, and they were really in a pinch. And because I'm a glider pilot, I know how to take airplanes out of trailers and put them together. So I helped the engineer and his ex-wife. That was very interesting that the ex-wife and him travel cross country and we're working on this thing, and 2 interns. And the CEO left because he had a bunch of stuff, and certain investors left. And Kevin stayed there, helped them till 3 in the morning. And I would have stayed longer, but I had to go catch my flight out of Chicago for our family vacation. And that was on Wednesday. And so on Thursday at the place in, what's that place called? Martha's Vineyard. I said, we're going to have a family meeting. Oh, okay, family meeting. So I'm looking at everybody and I said, okay, how many weeks are there in a year? And of course, they're smart kids and they're like 52. Excellent. How many weeks is OshKosh, the Airventure show? 1. You guys have 51 weeks to schedule a family vacation. And I looked at my chief financial officer and chief operations officer, who normally goes, and I said, we get it. You guys can do family vacation any other week because I really like going to OshKosh. So I should start off by, I've been to OshKosh probably 27 times, and this was the first time that I got to fly a small airplane up there. And I took a pilot with a medical, which is good for me right now, and I flew up there, and we had a blast. There was 11 of us that went with a bunch of different airplanes, and it was exciting. Flying into OshKosh is a whole thing, but very, very pleasant trip. All right, so by airspace, maybe today they flew their full production prototype. In other words, the aircraft has all the parts that the production airplane is going to be, except some of the parts are not made with the tooling that the production airplane will have. They have about just shy of 1,000 orders for this airplane. The training market is huge. And just to put it in reference, the difference in operating costs between a gasoline airplane and an electric airplane is your costs are 1/5 the cost. 1/5. So, says the businesswoman, wow, absolutely wow. Imagine you have a fleet of 10 trainers, and your cost for those 10 trainers is your direct operating cost is, let's just for round numbers, $100,000 a year. Well, you just chopped that 100,000 to 20,000. And why is that? It's not only because the electricity is cheaper, but the big one is maintenance is cheaper. And why is maintenance cheaper? Because, as we all know, an electric motor only has 2 moving parts, which are the bearings. So the inspection is you grab the prop and you go, yeah, it's not moving. That's it. You can do download of data. You don't have to do oil changes. You don't have to do belts. You don't have to. You check the airframe. It's much less on internal combustion engines. You have to do oil changes and take a bunch of stuff apart to make sure that it's not coming apart. Not so with electrics. So that time that aircraft is not in the maintenance shop is time that it can be generating revenue for you. And so it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If you can do the same job, remember, we're not talking about carrying 300 people across the Atlantic. We're talking about having an instructor and a student or 2 students in an airplane, and they're never going to fly more than 300 miles, and they're going to do stops every 50. So it's absolutely doable, and it's happening. All right. Next company I wanted to talk a little bit about was Magni Air. Magni Air, I think, is they have an electric drive system that is they have a lot of experience. Did you remember this little airplane down here? Can you guys see that? It's an airplane on floats. That is a Beaver, which is it has a radial engine used up in Canada and Alaska, but it's used in Vancouver, and there's a airline out there called Harbor Air, and I've talked about them, and they're getting a supplemental type certificate. They're using the Beaver, but they're changing the engine from a gasoline engine to a electric motor because they just do little short flights, and they can do 95% of their schedule with an electric Beaver, and it's only 1/5 the cost. So people are going to still pay about the same money for tickets, and the owners are going to get rich. All right. So MagniX. The reason I wanted to highlight this company is because they just announced a propulsion system, electric propulsion system. They've been doing propulsion systems for a long time, including Harbor Air, but they just announced one for experimental and kit planes. So me being an electric enthusiast and an aviation enthusiast, and you guys know this, I actually have an electric aircraft. It's a self-launching glider that's electric powered. I will now be able to buy a drivetrain for an electric airplane, and I want to build an electric racer. So that's one of my projects. So MagniX, very, very cool. This company, I wanted to, since we're all about EVs and EV infrastructure, this company is probably the furthest along in electric aircraft charging solutions. I hope they make it because I invested some money in them. And they really have some great ideas. Let me show you vertiports. So vertiports, here's their, can you see that charging solution with the little scissors? So the airplane lands, it doesn't have to taxi over to the charger. They move the charger out to it. They have two 500 kilowatt chargers. So 1 megawatt of charging to these airplanes because they're helicopters, right? They're going to serve Manhattan to JFK, Manhattan to Newark, where you've seen helicopters that are noisy. You're going to see eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. They have multiple rotors. They're propellers instead of a rotor that moves around. They are designed to be extremely quiet, and you don't have the fumes of helicopters, and you don't have the noise of helicopters. Helicopters have a tail rotor, and it spins very fast and makes a lot of noise. So that's the charging side. How am I doing on time? 10 minutes. This is what Colin and I want to talk about right here. So just imagine that you've got your little toy. That's what my wife calls it. It's a $400,000 toy. It's a little expensive, but think about this. 5 of us, or maybe even 10 of us, we go in partnership as a flying club. We get one of these things. We put up 40 grand. Heck, that's cheaper than your Tesla that you bought. We have it stored at my glider club, maybe, and we go out and we have fun fly fests. We go fly around the country and go over. This one actually, as things get along, these will be certificated to be able to fly over urban areas because they have multiple rotor systems. So they're not really like a little ultralight with one engine. And so this would be your commute to work. There's several of these being made. You know, we have this passion of the flying car. We want to have our car that flies too. The problem with a flying car is that it's kind of like having a flying boat or a spacefaring airplane. I mean, there are physics, to everything you make. And so the more missions you stuff into one thing, the heavier it is and the more complex it is. This is as close to it because you don't need to drive along the road. You just take off vertically and then you go into forward flight and you fly about 120 miles an hour. And So it's a nice little commuter, goes, I think it was 100 miles, was it? Yeah, 100 miles. So you can fly across Houston. So this is yeah. No. You bring up the question was, do we really want our Houston drivers? And I could fill in our LA drivers, New York drivers, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil drivers. You fill in the blank. Humans. Do we really want humans to be flying around without, proper training? I always say we invented the iPhone before we invented this, before we invented autonomous vehicles. We should have had autonomous vehicles first, and then people can be on their phones watching their movie instead of driving 85 miles an hour, 6 inches from the person in front of them while they're watching their movie. So no, this is going to be autonomous. So you can fly it, or you can push a button and it goes to your destination and you don't even touch it. It has ADS-B. It tracks 20 other targets. It does vertical and horizontal separation for you because it's talking to all these targets around it. Granted, do we really want to have a bunch of things buzzing over our head? Elon Musk, for one, doesn't want that. He wants us to be driving around in tunnels, which I like too. I like tunnels and I like airplanes. And I think if we can make them quiet, which they are, because they have these multi-rotors, they're designed with these airfoils that are very quiet. I think we can have these, but this is fun. Colin and I were drooled over this thing. I walked around it at OshKosh, and all right, so that's that.
What about pilot's license?
Don't have to have a pilot's license. It's an ultralight.
Have you seen a Waymo?
I've ridden in Waymos.
Yeah,
I've ridden in
my
Waymos.
Cybertruck drove me here. Yeah, but yeah.
Better than a Waymo. Waymo sucks.
So you had
So
a bad
let me
experience with
ask you-
Waymo. I've had a good experience with Waymo.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. So I was just imagining if you were programming for flight versus autonomous versus the automobile, you don't have to worry about lights. You don't have to worry about kids running out from behind a car. You don't have that circle that's down on navigation, which my Cybertruck did very well in, by the way. And you don't have to worry about so many in many ways. Flying is easier, simpler,
That might be
and
fun.
safer, maybe.
I do have a question though. If autonomous flight goes out and you're in the air, can you land the craft?
They call it a full aircraft ballistic parachute. So we build these things with a lot of redundancy, right? We don't have single failures. This particular aircraft, if you notice, it's got 4 motors, right? 4 motor assemblies with propellers. You can lose 2 of those and still fly. Not 2 on the same side, but if you lost one on one corner and one on the other corner, but if you lose one, it's going to go into a landing mode. It's going to find a safe place to go down and land. So there's a lot of safety and redundancy. And remember, air is still certificated in a way. So, right, we watch, what is the word I'm looking for? We watch ourselves more when it comes to air travel, regulated and exactly. So, anyways, you got we are going to have a lot of new things happening. We are having a lot of new things happening. I'm a flight instructor as well, and we give biannual flight reviews, and my reviews I'm going to find out if how rusty the person is, and I'm going to fly with them until they are fine flying. But the most amount of time I spend is convincing them that they hold the entire knowledge of humanity in the palm of their hand. We're used to in aviation reading 20, 30 manuals. And so I ask a question, then they're like, "Oh, either they say I don't know, or they start looking in the aircraft information manual, which is this thick." And I go, "Okay." I let them look for 30 seconds. I go, "Type in my question into your favorite AI," and it says, "Oh, this is what happened. This is the answer to the question." So we are just moving so quickly. Just like he drove over here in his Cybertruck on full self-drive, I'm paying Tesla $107 a month to have full self-drive in my Model Y, and I love it. As long as I hold my phone here and I can do my texting and emailing, my full self-drive won't say, "Dee, dee, 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 dee. Pay attention. One more time and I'm going to cut you off." That's it. End of full self-drive for this drive. So, but it doesn't, it is so good. It is really good. It's
So also you said that the motors on this thing are there's like 2 in 1.
That's right.
There's a backup built in. So there's 2 motors.
Yes, thank you for saying that, Colin. All of these electric motor drives, they're not, even the Magni-X one that I showed you guys, they're not one motor. In that housing, they've got 2 motors. And those 2 motors have independent controllers, 2 independent controllers, and the independent controllers are driven by 2 independent strings, battery strings. So in aviation, in general aviation, we have single failure things. Like, you have one brake line going to the right brake in a little airplane. And if you have a brake failure, you have to adjust with it. In a big airplane, in transport category aircraft, they never have anything less than 2. That's why you see 2 engines on them. Most of it is triple redundancy. So you have a way that if one thing fails, you still can compare the other. You can say, okay, I have 3 things. One of them is in disagreement with the other 2, so I'm going to believe the other 2. And
What else have you flown in your career?
What have I flown?
I'm just trying to. The lot of audience here doesn't know that you fly 737.
So I'm a United Airlines captain on the 777. I've been flying for 40. Started flying in 84. So that's 42 years. I've been flying 42 years. I've flown, a bunch of 727, 737, 757, 767, 777, but I've always kept my love for little airplanes, and I fly general aviation airplanes, and I'm also a soaring pilot. I have a sailplane that I fly, and I wish I would upload this picture. Hey, maybe, hold on a minute. Well, I will show you a picture. Let me send it to myself.
Yeah. Also, this airplane you told me had what, 3 computers? Is that right? 2 backups?
Yes.
3. Yeah. So it's that are constantly on, and so you've got separate battery systems, separate motor systems, and separate computer systems.
Yep. Yeah. The redundancy of, obviously your question is a very good question. This question of what if something goes wrong? What will happen? And I jokingly said we have a parachute, which they do, but you're gonna have a lot of redundancy, and
we're trying to figure out how to sell this to our wives, if you haven't noticed. Yeah.
I'm out of time. I could talk quite a bit longer about really innovative things. This aircraft right here, for example, I think is going to be one of the winners. This airplane can carry 19 people and take off in less than a football field in less than 300 feet. And it does it because it has a bunch of electric motors along the leading edge of the wing, and it does what's called augmented lift. So if you blow the air over the wing, over and under the wing, you actually generate lift without the airplane having to move as fast. And so this aircraft is going to do, you know, Austin, San Antonio, these kind of shuttle things, but it will be able to operate out of a football field. So you're going to have vertiports, which are these very small areas, you know, helicopter pads where you'll have the vertical takeoff and landing, and then you're going to have very short field operations. And Dave's got his hook out, so I
was just going to say, every high school you could fly that out of their football
Yes.
field. Then
Yes. They just demonstrated it up in LaGuardia, up in New York, and they flew off of one of the docks in front of a whole bunch of people.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask if folks either in the room or online have questions for Kevin. Yeah.
Okay. So when you were talking about, I think it was Buy Aerospace, you mentioned it's about 80% less expensive to operate the aircraft. Is it significantly more expensive to get your hands on the aircraft?
Right. So these electric aircraft are selling for just under $500,000. A conventional Cessna 172, which is a four-place used for training today, is selling for $760,000.
So cheaper to get and
cheaper to get. Now, in all fairness, the gasoline airplane can do, you know, you can buy it for personal transportation and go much longer cross country. So we're still not in the competitive phase of taking a personal aircraft and flying the kind of distances on electric. But most enjoyment in aviation, most joyride flights are less than an hour. You go up on a sunset flight, you come back and land, or you practice your landings. Or
Well, for longer distances, wouldn't a hybrid?
yes,
Just like a locomotive diesel is burned to generate electricity to drive the electric motors that provide locomotion to a train locomotive. In order to do a longer distance, you do that. And of course, if the fuel burning system stops, you've still got some battery power. You're not going to crash. You can go land at a secondary airport.
yes. So hybrid aircraft, I think, is going to be, you know, you have all these different segments. You have little aircraft, you have regional aircraft, and transatlantic, you know, large, long range airplanes. The regional carriers like the Lafayette, Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, Monroe, you know, Dallas, Austin, that you can do very easily with hybrid aircraft. And just like Dave said, instead of having a power thermal engine, you know, an engine that's to develop power, you have a engine that is constantly generating energy, and you have a smaller battery pack that's not that heavy to use the electric propulsion at higher power settings to do the takeoff. And then when you get to cruise, so you use less, you've already charged the battery, and the turbine is running at a very efficient, the generator is running at a very efficient RPM and load. It's designed to do that efficiently. And when you get to cruise, you have very efficient cruise because you're not using all that power. And then when you descend, you can actually do regenerative on the fans, right? So your fans can actually start being driven by the air in the descent, which we have drag devices on regular aircraft. They're so clean that to get them down, we have to bring what we call spoilers out. Maybe you've flown on an airplane, you see these big doors come up on top of the wing. That's to create air resistance so the airplane can come down. Well, you can use, you know, you can have the fans on the inside that are regen.
So many cars have regen. I've never thought of it on aircraft.
Yep.
I don't know why. It certainly makes sense. Like you say, let the fans be turned by the air as you're descending. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Robert, you had a question?
Yes. I know we've always asked this question, what era are we in? I think we've gone beyond the Wright brothers, perhaps maybe World War One, interwar era with regard to conventional ice aircraft. What do you think?
I think we're at World War II.
So some development, but a lot more to come.
Let me think about that. Maybe World War One. Robert asked me this question all the time. So if you think about it, the big leap that took place during World War II is phenomenal. I mean, power density, capabilities. We went from DC-3s carried 30 people at 150 miles an hour to DC-7 that went 350 miles an hour and carried 60 people across the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. And then the next big jump we did was jets. And jets came right after World War II. They were kind of started in World War II. And so I think we're somewhere after World War One in there somewhere.
Okay.
But I will say this, that we are in a war, right? The war is not, I mean, we have these little wars, but the war is man's war against himself and this earth. That's the war. We are in the, what do you call it, Bill? The Anthropocene and Anthropocene, right? Anthropocene, yeah, the age of man, where man is affecting his environment, and I think we're figuring it out. We're coming to grips with it, and so there's all this opportunity that's taking place to innovate our way into survival, and so. Whereas, World War One, and then there was kind of a lethargy after World War One, although we did have development, there's a huge push. There's trillions of dollars being invested in innovation. It's phenomenal across the globe, the amount of money. And as they say, follow the money.
Yeah.
And watch the Chinese.
And the Chinese. I think that this will be the century of China.
And well, to bring the
again.
Well, yeah, way back when.
All right, thanks, Kevin. That was really good.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate the patience for letting me flumble around.
Okay, and to bring it back around to the beginning, Hanan, thanks a lot. And one of the things that what Kevin was saying, one of the things that hit me when you were talking was about having Chevron have an electric coffee service truck come to their facility and serve their employees. And of course, we know what product Chevron produces. So, I mean, that kind of gives me hope when Kevin brings up this, our war against ourselves, because, and another time someone told me they, drove their electric vehicle. They worked at one of the Texas City refineries, and we know what material they refined there, and asked them, do your fellow employees or your boss give you a problem? They said, no, if your vehicle performs and meets your needs, drive it. So those two things give me hope. So thank you so much for coming out here and telling us about your, Good. And of course, we hope to see both of you at Watershed, because that's over on your side of town. That would be fun. And if not this month, on a future month, because we repeat it. So.
Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So at one of our batteries and brews at Watershed, you can move around, talk to different people, whatever. Yeah. All right. Good. And Bill, you got the non-working inverter from Emma, so you can work on that. Another project for Bill. He's got tons of projects too. All right. Thanks so much. This was a August meeting, and we'll see you all next month.
You name a number, you name an email.